Okay guys, so after completing the 6 thumbnail sketches, you're then going to submit these on the harbor, photographing this work here. I will give you feedback and tell you which I feel you should use for the actual logo design. But if there's one that you really enjoyed most that you want to just select, you don't necessarily have to go with the one that I picked, but I will give you that feedback if you were looking to wait for it. Once you are done and you do either wait for the feedback or not, we are going to be using the Adobe Draw app here on the iPad. So you're going to open that up. You're going to start a new project, which is going to be using this plus right here down at the bottom. You could either do it could be a portrait layout or a landscape, doesn't really matter, small or large, again, that doesn't really matter, but it will be in this print section that you will be selecting a new so I'm going to do a large postcard portrait. So I select that one there. Being that I do have my drawings, I'm actually going to photograph. I'm going to go with drawing number 2 as the design that I want to do for my final. So I'm going to actually press this plus right here that's located right by the layers. Okay, I'm going to press that plus and I'm going to do image layer as my option. Image layer, I could take photos from my iPad or I could actually take the photo right now. So I'm just going to take that photo as we speak. You might need to allow the app to use your camera, which you guys know how to do. So center it, take that photo. So it will photograph the drawing. I took the actual picture of the drawing that I wanted to use, and I'm going to press use photo down here at the bottom. So I can also expand this and make it larger. I'm going to try to fill the entire screen with the image because, again, I want my design to take up all of that. So once I size it, I'm going to press done here in the top corner. So now what you'll notice is it created a new image layer of just that photo that I'm using. I'm going to hold and drag this draw layer on top of that image so it's above it. And now I can select any one of these tools here. If you remember, we used this for the when we did the 4 forms. We weren't in Adobe Draw. We were in the other app, which was Adobe Sketch, but it's very similar. You have your tools here on the left side, and when you double click, it gives you the size, which you could drag up to make larger or drag down to make smaller. You could tap the opacity and drag that down to make it very see-through, less opaque, or very opaque, which is not transparent at all. And then the color, if you tap, you'll get your color wheel and you'll be able to just move this around, move this to kind of change the value of, and it does give you the preview right there of the color that you are selecting. So I'm actually going to just do a black outline, and I'm going to do it pretty small on this draw layer that I have here. So now what I can do is I can actually just go ahead and like draw an outline right on top so that I'll get some clean, crisp lines of the design that I wanted to use for my final piece, right on top of the drawn layer of that photograph that I have there. I could do every portion of this in a new layer if I wanted, or I could do all the outline in one layer and then create a new drawing layer to actually paint in the colors of everything. So what's nice about doing the outline and the coloring in 2 different layers is if you color outside the lines, because the coloring, so like if I did a new layer here, right, let me just do this. So now I have a new layer that I'm going to color in, and the way you know that you're on the layer is it puts that orange box. That's how I know I'm on that actual layer. So I'm going to click on the new layer I just made. I'm going to tap on a new tool, and let's say I want to make his jacket this yellowish color. I'm going to make the size a little bit. This back here over here, this little arrow will go back. So now if I color this, because I'm in a new layer, right? So I'm kind of going outside the lines on purpose. So I'm coloring his jacket this yellowish color, and I'm kind of going outside the lines. But now if I hold and drag this below, it puts the outline above the coloring. But now I could go back to my tools and grab my eraser, kind of size it down, and I could go against the outline and kind of clean up the edges, and it won't erase the outline because again, I'm erasing only the coloring, which is in its own layer. The outline sits alone. So because these are separated, I can then go and just work on cleaning up the coloring. So I suggest this is the way you do it. I would bring in the photograph of the selected drawing that you picked, bring that in as an image layer, make a new layer for the outlining of it. All the outlining can be in one. If you double click these, it also shuts them off, so you can kind of take a break from looking at certain ones at a certain time. So I would go ahead and kind of outline, make sure you're highlighted on the layer that you want to be working in. So again, because I'm doing the outlining in that layer, I'm going to keep outlining in that layer. So I'm going to go ahead and outline every single thing, get this whole drawing. I don't necessarily have to outline in black either. I just kind of selected that for now because I thought it was like a typical outlining color, but you guys can do whatever you want. Each part could be outlined its own. Like for the sign, I wanted the sign to be green, so I might change the color to a green for the outline so that when I do color it in, it is the color that I want the outline to be. So again, I suggest that you do all the outlining. If any of these tools here get in your way because the drawing is too big for like right here where this pizza is, I'm not going to be able to finish that circle, use these little arrows in the top corner and we'll take them away, and then when you want them back, you hit those again. Okay? If your layers are not showing, these little stacks of paper will bring them and put them back. Alright, so get your drawings in. I'm going to ask for something at this level, midway, to show me just the beginning of your design in the program, showing you that you have some layers where you're just basically screenshot what you have going on here. You would just screenshot it and send me that on the Harbor for the midway assessment, just to make sure that we're in the program, we're using the right program, we do have layers, we have our design going, and that's that. Alright, if you have any questions, guys, please email me. Good luck, and have fun designing.